Okay, I'll see. I've got yep, got some sound, so we're ready to go. And this is the screencast for Business 1123B, Monday, April 2nd. This is pre-recorded, as I mentioned that it would be in the scheduling note I sent everybody. This screencast will also be posted over in section A, which meets on Tuesday and Thursday. And as I said last week, I'm going to take the Monday recording that I do for 1123 section B, and then once I've done it, I will also post it at the announcements section for Business 1123A. That way, each section, okay, for at least one, but each section sees the same thing. And as I mentioned in that screencast last week, and in I think in the note I sent everybody, this doesn't lend itself to being able to do a session on Wednesday, a screencast, and then a Thursday meeting, because Wednesday is a virtual day. I do the screencast, a live one, and then on Thursday, okay, I'm in the classroom doing the screen class. I'm at physically at Shawnee doing the screencast. So you'll be, both sections will see at least the same case at least each of those times. Now today we're going to look at, and this again is a pre-recorded session, we're going to look at another access case, and this at this time it's going to be Cascade Pharmacy, which is access case number 4. Okay, and it's over on page 191 in your textbook. It's Cascade Pharmacy. It's page 191 in the Solve It student text. Now, when I go into the files, and as usual, I'll have some other files I've worked on before. And again, you'll want to use these or the one we do here today. In order for you to upload a case, make an upload so you get credit for the workshop. Okay, now let's go over and take a look at those file section. Cascade Pharmacy is another one of these where we're going to be working with a transaction processing system, and we're going to be doing some queries, some sorting, data reduction, and so those are the things that we'll be doing there. Now, again, this is Cascade, and anywhere you see an ACCDB 3 or Cascade Pharmacy, that's one that you can upload. Now, here's one, for example, that way and always do that in the event something happens. Okay. Now, what you really should do is work along with me. Okay. If it's a screencast remote, this is pre-recorded, so it doesn't really matter. But I'll upload the file for you today. Okay, so you have that. If not, here's one for ACC. I'm probably working at case 4. I'm so sorry. That's going to be ACCD. It's going to be case 4. Here's a case 4. This is deals with Cascade. You can upload that one. Let's see if I've got something here for Cascade. Any files named Cascade. Here you are. This is Cascade 1. Okay, and that I was probably doing a version of it, but it is Cascade Pharmacy, so that one's okay to use. Okay, and let's see what else we might have here that we would run into. And I don't think we'll see anything else that we'll want to use. Okay, that you could use to upload in a pinch. Nope. So there are a couple there in addition to this one, which I'll post in the announcements. Well, let's go over to the syllabus, all right, and take a look at this. Is just a little bit of homework. I mean, just to kind of stay on top of things, all right. Now, on Thursday, March the 8th, okay, and that's this coming Thursday, all right, because today I'm recording this. Today is the 31st. You have 3 things that are due. An exam over the few text, okay, chapter. You have pardon me. Let me whip down here. I got myself confused. Like I'm probably confused. Oh, okay. Here we are. Thursday, August the 5th. I'm sorry. Yikes. You have 2 things that are due. All right. You have the trend analysis quiz and you have XLS10. Now you should have already uploaded XLS10, so that should be done. The trend analysis quiz, all right. You say, what is it based on? And it's drawn from from the case in the book, the Excel case, the town of Dabney, case number 5. That's going to be you'll want to look at it, okay? And also, I'll just go back over here to the modules. Okay, and I'll open the modules up. And you will see, I think I have some resources here on trend analysis. You'll probably also find something in here for Cascade. And there's a resource there I want us to look at. Okay. And we'll go on down here. Let's see here. And here's another. This is Access Case 3. Access Case 4. It's done. You got another one of those. As you see over the years I've been teaching this, using this text, I kind of tweak it as we go along. And let's see what else we've got. Now, I have resources for the Business 1123 exams, okay, and the task, the trend analysis materials, okay. I have files on those, and I'm just going to come up here and okay. And the trend analysis quiz is done. Now, I have some resources for you. Again, this is the quiz is drawn from, has questions from the City of Clintwood Excel case. All right, okay. And you want to look at that. In addition, all right, you're going to want to go to the supplemental website for the course. Here's the link. It's up here in the welcome area. And you're going to find some additional help in terms of trend analysis. Okay. And here's one, percentage change, increase and decrease. That's one you want. There's a percentage change calculator there. Let's see, time series analysis. Here's a file, and here's a file on, and here's a resource on trend analysis again. So time series analysis and trend analysis. Here's another on trend analysis, and this is from the supplemental website. And you get to the supplemental website from Canvas, from the link in Canvas. Okay, so there should be no issue for you, in terms of materials. You've got the case that you worked on, the City of Clintwood. That's got some information in it in that case, and that's over there in the Solvit Student Solvit 6.0 book. You also have some resources in the supplemental website that I provided for you. They're in the supplemental website, and you will find it going into the welcome section, the welcome module. Okay? All right, my friends. Well, with that out of the way, let's go back in here to the modules. All right, pardon me. Yeah, let's just scroll on down here, and we're going to work on Module 9. And we have, of course, these two things are due, but we're going to work on case number 4. As you know, we've been working ahead for these databases cases. So when I'm finished with the screencast and you're finished listening to it, okay, take one of these files that they're over here in Canvas, or the one you might have worked on as we went along, or the one I'm going to do, and upload it into the bin for access case number 4. Okay? As I said before, we are working ahead. All righty. Now, I'm going to go into the files section of Canvas. And I'm going to look for, see if we can find Solvit. There it is. And there it is, the Solvit 6.0 solution files. So we're going to download that. Okay. And I'm going to diminish my browser, and I'm going to get Cascade, which is the Cascade Pharmacy case. Okay. All right. And I'm going to open it up. I click Enable Content. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, just to make sure there's no problem with an upload, is I'm going to save this file in Access Database, and I'm going to save it to my desktop, and it's called Cascade, and I'm going to put Cascade Harmon Keith. All righty. And we'll save it. And it's just going to simply say we're going to change this file format to a newer version of Access, which is fine. Now I enable the content. Now, Cascade Pharmacy database case number 4 starts on page 191 in the Solvit 6.0 textbook. As usual, they give us some information about this company. And then we come down to the bottom of page 191, and they tell us that the government wants to keep track of certain types of pharmaceutical products that the pharmacy is selling. Okay, and of course we all know to get a prescription you have to have a doctor prescribe something. Then that's conveyed to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist fills that prescription per the doctor's orders. But there are some things that the federal government and probably also the state government want to know. In this case, the federal government. Okay, and here they're saying that the government wants them to specify usage information for 6 classes or types of drugs. This is the bottom page 191. Sedatives, analgesics, antihypertensives, diuretics, and anti-inflammatories. And we move over to page 192 and antidepressants. Now, you've all heard in the news about the opioid crisis, okay? I probably mispronounced it. But here's the problem. These are painkillers, and they're supposed to not be addictive, but we're finding that they are. And so how do we deal with that? Okay? And I'm going to give you an example of something. I use a product called Claritin D for my allergies, okay? And I have to go to the pharmacy, present what I want a card for what I want to buy. Then the pharmacist has to check to see if I'm not on some list. And then I also check to see how long has it been since they filled my prescription, okay? And I think the largest amount you can buy, I trade at Walgreens, is I think 15 days. Maybe it's more. And if I'm early, they'll say, no, you got to come back in 2 or 3 days or whatever. Okay. This is one of the things you're doing. So it's no different here with this pharmacy, Cascade Pharmacy, that at the bottom of page 191 and at the top of 192, they've been told these are the types of drugs that we want, that you must report to us at the sales, the company, the usage, etc. Now, in the middle of page 192, you're going to see, okay, a table that shows the drug codes and the drug class. So each class or type of drug has its own unique drug code. And again, this is just like it's a primary key. This is a table, basically, and if we were designing it, the drug code would be the primary key. Okay, and now there's 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken, that are of interest to the government. Okay, and I'm gonna start with the diuretic. That's Z3. Okay. Antihypertensives, that's Z4, analgesics, Z5, okay, anti-inflammatories, okay, and then sedatives and antidepressives. And those are the drug codes. And where did I get that? Well, again, they told me, okay, what the government was after. Now they come on down about this company, Fartech, and they want a Windows-based database package that will supplement their manual card system, and so that they can make sure that they can provide the statistics to the federal people in terms of drug usage. And then that carries us on through page 193 of the text, and then we have six tasks, okay, that they want us to do. And we're going to work through them, okay? Let's start, first of all, with the Cascade table, okay? And we're going to open it up. And here we see the drugs, who supplies them, the name of the drug code, and the date it was dispensed. Okay. Now, as we've talked about building tables, here's one of these opportunities, okay, to make sure that data are inputted correctly. So we're going to go in. As I said before, we're really focusing on building tables. And so we're going to create a lookup table. Okay, now I'm going to close this off. Let's go down to the design view for a moment. Okay, and you can see each of those fields. Is the date required? We want yes. You know, is the drug code required? Yes. And we will not allow zero length. Okay. Let's go back to the date. All right. Now, on the date here, let's click Lookup tab. Pardon me, not the date, but come down to the second line here in the field properties. You'll see the format up there. Okay. Month, day, year. That's that MD/YY. And if we want to create, if we want to use an input mask, we can do so. Save the table. And there we can do a long time, pardon me. The date, we can give the long time, the short date, the short time, medium. Okay. And let's go back up top and look at up there. So you serve the table. Okay. You see, and the nice thing is, all right, if you come down, if I came down here and I was going to input a new date, notice what happens. I have a little date calendar pop up. You're familiar with these, of course. So we're going to go down to the design view. We're going to make sure that the date is required. The drug code is required. It'd be stupid not to. The drug name, that should be required. If we don't do this, okay, then we'll get reports that have stuff missing. And the supplier should be required. The number of tabs, okay, and it should be absolutely should be. That's how many tablets we gave, and then the milligrams per tablet, and that's required. We cannot generate this report, especially because it's a regulatory agency of government, and you know, pharmaceutical products are regulated by the government, especially those that involve these types of drugs. Okay. Now, let's go back up to the data sheet view. Now, see what I'm saying? And we're going to say, and we're okay. And so, if we start to create a new record, it's going to require us to fill everything out. Okay. Now, since we've got this table, all right, we're going to do a couple of things to help make it better. So I'm going to click on Create, Query Design, okay, and I'm going to add the Cascade table, all right, and I'm going to get everything using the asterisk. Now, if you'll notice up here at the top in my toolbar, you're going to see query types. There's a select, and this is, we're going to do a make table on query, okay? Well, wait a minute here. I don't want to do that. We're going to create the lookup table. I'm so sorry. We'll fix this up. I'm going to get the drug code and the drug name. Okay. And this is what will show up first. And we're gonna create a lookup table. And so now all I have to do is come over here and click Make Table. And I'm going to call this drug ID. Let's call this ID. We're going to call it drug ID. Drug ID lookup. Okay. In fact, just to make this not less jumbled, let's put drug underscore ID underscore. Okay. Actually, drug ID is not correct. It's called the drug code. So let's be precise with that. That'll be, so I'm going to call it drug code lookup. Now, just to make sure, I'm going to underscore and then lookup. Now I'm ready to go. And I'll click OK. And I'll run it. You're about to paste 50 rows into a new table. We're good. And here we have the drug, and we don't have to save that query. Here we have the drug code lookup table, and it has the drug code and the drug name. Now we're going to use this as a lookup table for Cascade. And so let's go into the design view, okay, and let's click on drug code, and then we'll go down here for lookup. We'll go down here and find a combo box, and they're going to say row source type, and we'll come over here on the row source type, and we'll click the little blue square with the 3 dots, and we're going to get the drug code lookup table. We're going to add it. We have the drug code, the drug name, and we're going to run it. All right. Now, if we want to, we can go back in here, and on the drug code, I'm going to sort them in ascending order so they're alphabetical. Let's run that and see how that looks. Ah, much better. All righty. All right, and there's the SQL that fits for that. And now we can go up to the table view, excuse me. We'll save the table. And we have a nice drop-down menu. Now, let me go back down to the design view because we forgot to do something. Here under column count, this is in the lookup tab. The column, we're going to have one bound column. We're going to have a column count of 2, okay? And the column widths, I'm going to put 1 inch, semicolon, 2 inches. So that the drug code, that little part of the drop-down menu doesn't need that much space. Now, the drug name, that's a different matter. Okay? And I'm going to go back up to the datasheet view. They'll ask us to save the table, and we will. Okay? Oops. I didn't do my 1 inch. Colon 2 inch. There we go. Now I have the drop-down menu for the drug code. I click on that, okay? And it will tell me the drug code and the name of the drug. And of course, we could do the same thing for drug name, okay? We could also create a lookup menu for the supplier. We could create a drop. We would definitely want to have a drop-down tab menu for the tabs, and then for the milligrams per tab. So we just did one. Okay, so you saw what we did to make sure this table was better. First of all, we required that everything be there. Every field, every record is complete. Number two, we created a lookup table, which we could do for each one of these columns. So no one has to engage in fields. So nobody has to engage in any big guesswork on what to put in there. Okay? And we're going to close this off now. We'll save it. And now we've improved it. Now we're going to do one final thing here, okay? And that is we're going to create a form. So I'm going to click Create. And I'm going to come over here to More Forms. And as you know, I like a split form. And there's my split form for Cascade. Okay? And I've talked about why we have these. All right? And it shows that as I make changes, let's say here I decide to add a new record, that will, or we have to, or the supplier, let's say the supplier changes, then we put the name of the new supplier up here, and let's go to the view. If I put in the name of the new supplier, and on this, I'm going to put, I could put Harmon. Okay. And then I could go to the next record, and you'll see that Harmon as a supplier is up there. Now I'm going to go back to the first record, and I'm going to take that out, and I'll make it host. That's what this, I believe this is how this name sounds, HOECHST, okay? And we will save that record. Now we go to the next record, and you'll see that, you know, we've changed the table. That's why I like a split table if we're going to use a form. Now, to a certain extent, when you do purchasing online, you're actually inputting into a split form. But what it's doing is taking this portion and putting it into a shopping cart while you're making your selections. Okay, so we're going to close this. We're going to save it. And this is called Cascade. Makes lots of sense. Now we're going to do one other thing here, and we did this some last week. I'm going to make sure that when I open this database, that form pops out immediately. So I'm automating it. So I'm going to click File, and I save as, Access Database. And this is Cascade, Harmon Keith on the desktop. I click OK. Enable content. And then I'm going to close it. And then when I'm going to reopen it, it's Cascade Pharmacy. Whoops, I didn't do my work on the file. To make sure to have it automatically pop up, we're going to have to do this. Click on Options, Current Database, and you'll see this little thing says Display Form, and I'm going to display the Cascade form. And then I'll click OK. Let's see, I got to close this for it to work. Okay, I get that. All right. So we're going to go back here with Cascade, and we're going to reopen it now. And the first thing opens is our form. Now we could create a blank form with a series of tasks that it would do for various tables, etc. Okay? And if you want to see an example of that, you can go into the files section over there, and I think it's Northwind Traders that's in your files. That's the sample database that Microsoft has out there for people to learn about their product, how it works, etc. All righty. Now I'm going to close this form off. All right. And now we're ready to do a little bit of work. And this is going to be for task number 2. Okay. And they want us to the first task, number 1, we want to filter out all of the drugs not of interest to the state government. I've been saying federal government. It's state government. I'm sorry. So what that means is we only want to get stuff that is of interest to the government. Others are playing a game with us here. They say design a query to filter out all of the drugs. Now that first part of the sentence, the key thing is filter out all of the drugs not of interest. So if we get rid of filter out all the drugs that are not of interest, all we're left with are those that are of interest to the government. So I have a query for task number 1, and I'm going to show you. We'll open it up in design view. Now, scroll this down a little bit. We'll move you over just a hair. And now we can see, now let me squeeze these out a little bit. Okay. And here we have the data. We have the drug name. We have the supplier, the number of tabs, and the milligrams per tabs. Okay. But most importantly, notice what we did. We used the drug code. Okay. And we put it in alphabetical order. And then we put the criteria. And here are the criteria. Yeah, you can see these are the drug codes right here. And we said or. And what that means is that is a Boolean union, meaning we get everything. Okay. And so we're going to have those now. We also have the tabs, and we're ready to go up top. And we can run the query. And we did, and here it is. So it shows us the drugs that are of interest to the government. And let's see if we've got them all. B3, yeah, that's of interest to the government. How about B6? Yeah, that's of interest to the government. Okay. How about F3? And let's see, F3. Yeah, that's the sedatives. Those are of interest. And we'll come down here to Z3, diuretics, and those are of interest to the government, state government, excuse me. And then we have Z4, and those are antihypertensives. And then Z5, analgesics. So that's task number 1, and that's all we really had to do there. Okay. Now, again, it was just identify. I'll go back in again, and our criteria, we use as a criteria. Okay. Now, if we wanted to, okay, we could also create an expression that gives us one final bit. And I'm going to call this dosage. Dosage per drug. And what we're going to do is we're going to put, first of all, we're going to put tabs, put that inside a bracket. Okay. Back just to be on the safe side, let's make tabs all uppercase. Times, and that's milligram per tab, so we'll put bracket mg underscore per underscore tab. This should give us the dosage per drug. Now they may ask for this, they may not, but but if we can go ahead and do it, we might as well have it done. And we probably would want to know ourselves. And then we'll just paste that in there and let's run it. And there we are. Now we have dosage per drug, excuse me, as well as the information they initially asked for. Okay, for task number one. So we've done task number one. We've run that query. We've selected. We've filtered out drugs that the state government is not interested in. So conversely, that means we want to get those that the government is interested in. And we've got data on the supplier, the drug name, okay, the milligrams per tab, and then we had this, and we created this little other one here, which is a dosage, okay, dosage per drug. So that, we don't know if they'll ask us for this, but they might. So I'm going to close this. I will save it. And then we'll come back out to the navigation pane. Now, at page 2, apartment 193, we see task number 2. Design and print a report to present to the state government each quarter. Include only the total drug usage and the subtotal usage for each of the state's targeted drug codes. It should be sorted by drug code and then by drug name. Okay. Let's look at task 2, and we'll open it up. Okay. And we've got that. Now, we want to do the task to the government usage report, and they want it per quarter, which is okay. And we want to go back down to the design view here, and over in this very last tab, I'm going to put date. And I'm going to run it, and it will show us the total usage, and it will also show us the date. And you'll see that. Okay? So we're going to click and we're going to save it. Now, we're ready to create our report. Let's just go ahead and close this off. And we're going to create report. Okay, and we're going to do a report wizard. Okay, and it says, what do you want to use? And we're going to put, we want to use the task 2 query, and we want everything. And we'll go next. And they want this to be for each quarter. Okay, so we're going to click next, and we'll put the drug code into ascending order, so it's alphabetized. And let's go back here for just a minute because we want to do some grouping on this. So we're going to go back and we want to do grouping, and we're going to add a grouping level of date. Okay, now you'll see it says date by month, but we want it per quarter. And so we're going to come up here and we're going to find grouping intervals quarter. Then we'll click OK. So the dates will be grouped out by quarter. And I'm going to click next. And we have some summary options. I'm going to put the drug code in ascending order, and then we have summary options, and we want to click on that. And we want the sum okay, and total usage, and we want detail and summary, and we'll click OK. And we'll click next. And I want to put this in landscape. We'll put click, and let's see what we end up with. I'm going to close this back here. Now notice that we have it by quarter, like they asked us to. And the key was we added the date data in here. And then when we did the form wizard, we chose it to do it by quarter. So we've done what they asked us to do. Now, as you've heard me say before, I hate the report function and access. And I'm going to click on layout view and see, for example, these drug codes, boom, they need to come over. Then the drug name, we need to move them over. Okay. And the supplier, we can pull them over here. Definitely want to reduce the size of that field. This lets me take the tabs. Okay. I'll just move this on over. And then these pieces of data, we'll move them over. The layout view lets us do this. Now we've got milligrams per tab. Put this here. And then we've got the milligrams per tab. And we get that field, and we'll move them over. See, it's a little bit tedious. This is why I don't like this report function. And then we've got the total usage. And so we want to move that over because date is going to wind up on another page. Okay, you can see I'm using it to move these over. Very tedious. I'll move total usage over here. Okay. We should now have enough room for the date. we've got it all on one page. Now let's go up to the report view and see what it looks like. And not bad. Did pretty good there. And we have the subtotals and grand totals, everything they ask for. So yeah, we're going to save this as task 2. And so far, so good. Now, task 3, he wants to find which drug companies produce the drug he sells under each drug code. So, you know, we're going to click create, and we'll need to run a query to do that. And so we'll click create. We're going to do query design, and well, actually, we've done number 3 because we produced that report that presents the quarterly transactions, and the drug code is in there. So we've got that already. So I'm gonna say close this and get rid of this. We don't need to do this. And really on this report, I'm gonna open this back up. I can rename this task. I could really rename this report task 3. And so that's what I'm going to do. If it's going to let me. Yeah, rename. I'm going to call that task 3. All right. And so we've done task 3. Task 4, they talk about the slow delivery of supplies by Roche. And that he wants to get the data. He wants the prescriptions dispensed when the drug was provided by Roche. He would like this sorted by drug code with subtotal usage included for each class. Okay. And there's task 4, which is the Roche report. Let's open it up for a minute and look at it. Here we are. And it has the drug code in alphabetical order, the drug name, and the total usage. Okay. Let's look at the query that it operates under. And here we go. I'm going to close it off for a minute so we can see everything we got going on here. We've got the date, the drug code, the drug name, the supplier, the tabs, the milligrams per tab, and the total usage, which is, of course, tabs times milligram per tab. And they want us, notice here that we have in the criteria, we put the word Roche, okay? And simple, we want all the drugs by Roche. Now they said there they wanted a code with subtotal usages included for each class and all this business. And we'll go back up to the top here. Okay. And we've got this good set of data. I'll close this off. And I'm going to click create. And I'm going to create a report. I'm going to use the report wizard. And I'm going to get everything from there, task 4. That's what I'm working on. And I'll click next. And I want to group these. So, and he wants subtotals. So I'm going to do the grouping on the basis of And I'm gonna make drug code. I'm going to group it by drug code. If I wanted to, I could also do it by date. Okay. And we'll click next. And our summary options, we want the sum. Okay. We'll click next, next. And here we are. Now again, this is unwieldy, and we'd have to do a little bit of work with it in the layout view to make it look pretty. But we got it done. In task 5, this is the bottom page 193. They've extended their pharmacy system. Task 5, this is bottom page 193. The new system's compatible with Windows, blah, blah, blah. Then task 5 continues over to the top of page 194. And as they walk through here, they say that they want us to create a data flow diagram. Okay. And I'm going to close this off. All right. And let's see, Cascade Harmon. I'm gonna go ahead and upload that. And we'll find Cascade Harmon. I'll click open. I hope it will upload it. Now let's see if it did. Sometimes it's a little sketchy. So we may have to try this again. And we're going to do that. We're going to upload. We'll go over here and we're going to find Cascade Harmon. Keith, open. Let's see, I may have been looking in the wrong place. Huh. Let me refresh this and see if it shows up. Maybe that's the problem here. I'll do Harmon. Huh. Obviously not taking the upload. It's a database. That is strange. Well, you'll want to upload yours. Let me see here. This is just weird. And I don't get this. I'm going to go over here. Well, that's not going to do you guys any good because you won't be. Let me see all my files. Okay. Go back over here. All right. And I don't know, it gets a little strange sometimes. Well, sure what to think here. All right. Well, that's pretty much as far as the cascade case goes again. Now, I'll try to log out and log back in and then get it saved up there, okay? In the meanwhile, I think that pretty much does what we're going to take care of. I'll go back down here to this file. Okay, our form opens up. We've done everything we needed to do. The only thing left is the data flow diagram. And you said, what in the world is that? Let's go back up into the modules. All right. And let's see here. See if I have some data flow chart. These are a resource you could use to help you do that. Here's on flowchart symbols defined. Okay. And let's see here for a moment. Now, when you do the data flow diagram, you're going to use the text. You're going to use all the verbiage or narrative that they provide you there on 194 of the text. And here's what you can do. Let's go over here, and I'm going to open up Microsoft Word. Okay. And to make your flow diagram would be very easy. Here you open up Word, you click Insert. Okay. And we want shapes. Okay. And then you come down and you'll see shapes for flow charts. Okay. And in fact, it will tell you what they're for. This is a process. This is an alternate process. This is a decision node. Now, as I showed you earlier, I provided you a resource that tells you what each of these symbols mean. So I want you to create a data flow diagram, okay, for them filling a script. Now, I might have an example over here for you, and if not, maybe at the supplemental website. Okay, and let's see. It's probably over at the supplemental website. So you'll need to go over there. So let's just do that. Let's go into the announcements area. We'll let it load itself up. Pardon me. We want to go into the modules. I'm sorry. And here you see some announcements. And I have a link to the supplemental website. I'm pretty sure that's where you're going to find some help on flowcharts. And I think I have some resources in here for you as well. Here's one on a prescriptions path through a pharmacy. And then here are 3 resources for data flow diagrams. And let me see, I'm still looking to see if I have. I guess I didn't keep it. Let's go to the supplemental website for a minute. Because I was almost certain I had provided you an example. If not, you've got plenty of resources there to create the flow chart and get it done. And I'm down here looking through. Here you go. Flow chart symbols defined. Flow chart tips. When we talk about data flow, we're just mean a flow chart. And how to create flow charts. There's another resource. And let's look. See if there's anything else in here that you could use. And I don't believe there is. So that takes care of everything here. We'll go back. And that'll take care of creating the flow chart. So you have resources to get that done. Okay. And again, we're at week 9. Okay. And that'll pretty much do it. Okay, folks. Now this is the screencast for BISS 1123, which meets on Monday and Wednesday. I'm also, once I've created the video, I'm also going to place it over there in the I'm also going to place it over there in BISS 1123 section A. And for A, I will probably do a short little intro piece, live screencast, and refer them to that. So I'll do a live screencast, but you'll have the whole case handled and solved. Okay? All right, folks. Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing your work. Stop the share. Stop recording.